Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Dylan here. We have a major update today from Dave Ramsey that you do not want to miss. He is coming out and talking about all of this stuff going on in America. He's calling out socialism discussions and he's teaming up with Trump to save America. So we're going to dive into all of this, but before we do, we're going to read scripture and pray because God comes first. Amen? So comment amen down below if you believe that God comes first. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. Amen. So leave the word amen in the comment section down below. And thank you to everyone who has begun investing in the stock market. So many of you have messaged me saying that your investments are up thousands of dollars. We are now running a 90% off sale on the Invest Like Trump program. The link is below, or you can type in thefinanceZone.org. And when you sign up, you will get up to $1,000 in bonus stocks inside the program. All right, my friends, let's tune in to Dave Ramsey, guys.
President Trump set to head west any moment now to talk up the economy as the latest Fox poll shows fewer Americans feeling good about their finances. So let's bring in Dave Ramsey now, founder and CEO of Ramsey Solutions. Dave, we're so happy to have you back on the program. This seems
Thank you. Good to be back with you.
This seems to be the running message right now while Wall Street's rocking. I mean, throw that Dow up there. Gosh, if you're invested in the American stock market right now, record high. I think this is the 23rd or 24th record high for the Dow Jones Industrial Average this year, Dave. It's up 1,000 points right now.
Yeah, if you want to learn how to invest and get involved in this, click the link below or go to thefinanceZone.org.
So if you're in there, you're rocking. There's a lot of economic stats we can point to that say this is a strong economy, but these polls show people still don't feel that comfortable, or they feel strained, or they're still feeling the effects of some of these high prices. So what say you about the way people feel right now in this economy?
Well, the problem is that feelings aren't facts. They create facts in our head, but they're not facts. And we all deal with this. And when you're looking at your personal situation, you have to say, okay, facts are my friends, not feelings. Now, what are the facts? Well, the truth is a lot of people feel boxed out of the housing market right now, for example. And yet we've got trillion-dollar debts in cars and autos, $1 trillion in credit card debt, $1 trillion, almost $2 trillion now in student loans. And guess who's carrying that? Well, these last two generations to come on the scene. Well, they don't have good feelings right now because Citibank has stolen all their stinking money with what's in your wallet. And, you know, Congress with the student loan debt and so on. And so that's where those feelings come from, is they're jammed up in their budget, regardless of what the S&P is doing. You know, the market's up 13% year to date. That's awesome. And how about the last 4 years? If you'd had money in just an S&P, your money would have doubled in the last 4 years. But no, we're not participating in any of that because all we're doing is paying payments.
Yeah. Stop paying payments, stop going into debt, and start slowly putting money into the stock market, like Dave Ramsey says. Again, if you want to learn, we have very helpful links down below.
Fair enough. And it's sometimes that's something people, when they're so busy, they're not even looking at, and they say, where did all my money go? Dave, you mentioned the housing market, and this has been a big struggle for so many because interest rates remain high. This is the average 30-year U.S. mortgage rate has risen to the highest level in a year. It's now 6.66%. This is the median price for a single-family home is now almost $450,000. That's up almost 2% year over year, according to the National Association for Realtors. So what about housing affordability? And what do you say to those, especially first-time home buyers who say, they're losing faith in the American dream. It's hard to get into that first home.
Yeah, again, I go back to what we were talking about a minute ago. The American dream has been stolen from them because they got screwed by these banks and by Congress with the student loan debt. If you don't have any student loan debt, you don't have any credit card debt, and you don't have a $1,200 car payment, you can afford a house in America today. and with an average household income, because the average is almost 450,000. But that, of course, includes California and you folks in Manhattan. When we look out here in the Midwest, for instance, the average is 329,000, and you can buy that on an $80,000 income if you don't have payments coming out your stinking ears. But it's very difficult to find your way to that, and it's easy to blame interest rates or to blame house prices, which are a real thing. That's a real thing, and you are truly blocked out, but you've got to clear the debt off the plate, which then enables you to have the disposable income to be able to afford a house payment and the repairs and maintenance on owning a home, which is a great investment, and I want everyone to be able to get a home as soon as you can. But yeah, you got to get the stuff off your back. You can't be driving a $1,400 a month Escalade and wondering why you're broke.
I just checked my portfolio today, guys. It's up another $5,000 just today alone. Literally, today it rose up $5,000 just because the stock market is doing well. I don't even know why the stock market is doing well. You're not even supposed to be tracking it, but every once in a while I'll take a look. Guys, if you haven't started investing in the stock market, it's not too late. You can start now, and you can use the links below to learn.
Yeah, all fair points. Don't panic and rush into something you can't afford. Get yourself out of debt completely. Save up for that 20% hold down payment. Rent a little longer if you have to. Save aggressively. I love those tips. Then you have the biggest mistakes that Americans are making today when it comes to affordability in the economy. Share those with us, including trying to look rich instead of actually becoming rich.
You know, what's hilarious is I've been doing this for almost 40 years now on talk radio and coaching people with money, and it's still the same three things. It's still it's human nature to want to have a car that looks good to the person sitting next to you at the stoplight. That's human nature. I've got it too. But we've just got to say it's more important to what happens to my family than what other people think about what I'm doing. And so if you buy an item and no one ever saw you with that item, would you be okay, and would you still buy that item? That'll keep you from buying a whole lot of things right there. So, and you can't finance a lifestyle and that you haven't earned and then turn around and try to buy a house. It's not going to work. All these things work together. And your income, of course, is your greatest wealth building tool. I mean, if you take a car payment that's gone, a student loan that's gone, and all your credit card debt is gone, and you're living on a plan, a couple can invest and really take advantage of this wonderful stock market boom right now.
I want to finish off with a question the Wall Street Journal is asking, and when is it time to have the talk with your parents? A lot of folks are dealing with aging parents today, and they wonder how to have that financial discussion, or, when it's time to turn over the car keys or get a caregiver. Dave, do you have any suggestions for families and how they approach this very difficult discussion?
Well, first and foremost, remember to honor the person that you're talking to. They've got socks older than you. Honor them and honor what they've accomplished and what they have done right in their life, instead of starting the conversation with wagging your finger and saying this is all the things you're doing wrong. It's not well taken with anyone, but particularly when you're dealing with someone that's older than you. And always remember too that you're dealing with the powdered butt syndrome. Once someone has powdered your butt, they don't want your advice on sex or money. And so it's very difficult to have these talks. Very hard, but it's necessary. And so you sit down and say, Mom and Dad, hey, I don't need anything from you except to make sure that I can honor your wishes, to make sure that you're taken care of. How can I serve you? I love you. I honor you. You're amazing. How can I help? Rather than coming in like the authority with the glasses down on the end of your nose with a speech on the tip of your tongue. Yeah,
and as the Wall Street Journal mentions too, when they ask this question, one thing you can do now, if your parents haven't quite reached that age yet, is work on that retirement savings. And it looks like a good time to do that with the stock market hitting all-time highs today. Dave, it is always great to have you in the program. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Wow, that is incredible. I mean, even take a listen to, I personally take advice from Dave Ramsey. He changed my life. He's the reason why I got out of debt and literally started achieving financial freedom and started investing in the stock market. But Dave Ramsey and Trump, they have very similar mindsets when it comes to investing. Listen to what Trump had to say about investing.
You better go out and buy stock now. Let me tell you, this country will be like a rocket ship that goes straight up. This is going to be numbers that nobody's ever seen before. That's a very important element of all of this. If we get that, if you don't, and the Democrats are fighting it only because they want to fight. They have Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah, and I actually did listen to President Trump, and I did start investing in the stock market. And over the past year, my investments are up over $90,000. If you want to learn how to invest in the stock market, very beginner friendly, step-by-step and easy, you can go to thefinanceZone.org, or if you're watching this on your TV, you can just scan this QR code and get started in a couple of minutes. Even one of you guys messaged me saying that your investments are up over $13,000 after taking the program. And right now, we have a 90% off sale that ends today, up to $1,000 in bonus stocks inside the program. I go over which stocks that Trump has, which stocks that I'm buying, how to set up an account for the very first time, and I also go into depth about how to take advantage of this time we're in while Trump is still president. It's not too late. All right, guys, so this is Dave Ramsey talking about socialism versus capitalism, and he really breaks it down well. And for somebody who is, on the sidelines, he's not in the political atmosphere, he really breaks it down well for us to listen to and explain, and the benefits and advantages of either. Study this, listen to it, and learn it, so when you have discussions with people over socialism versus capitalism, you can use these talking points. Let's take a listen.
Well, it's day 2 of the Ramsey Intra-Leadership Summit, a wonderful business leadership conference in Orlando, and our very own Taylor Riggs is there with Dave Ramsey himself. Hi, Taylor.
Hey, Marcus, thank you so much. And Dave, it's always so great to see you. We love these conferences. I was speaking with some business owners on the side, and they felt like this is a little bit of a precarious moment. Lots of tailwinds. The economy feels strong, but battling high energy costs. What do you tell those business owners?
Well, I think anyone that is around economics of any kind, we need a predictable environment. And if we can project into the future, even if it's a headwind, if it's predictable, we can lean into it. It's the volatility and the not knowing what is next that throws people off balance, because you don't know whether to hire and invest into the business, or you don't know whether to pull back and save up cash for the storm that's coming or whatever. And so if you can create a predictable environment, a law and order situation where regulations aren't pounding me, I've got freedom, then free enterprise will always flourish.
I want to talk about free enterprise. So you had a wonderful speech this morning where you talked about some concerns about this war on success, the war on capitalism. What do you tell the next generation that is really having this debate between capitalism and free markets versus big government socialism?
Well, in business, we learn to study patterns, and we learn to study best practices, meaning that we're going to look at a company that's doing something well, and we want to mimic that. And we look at a company that failed in something, and we want to mimic that. And the problem with the socialism discussion is you can't find a single example where it worked. It's just straight up stupid. It's academically ridiculous.
It's never worked.
It has never worked. And, I traveled to these countries. I was in a foreign country the other day, and they said, we have free health care. And I said, it's not free, you idiot. Your taxes are 65% of your income. Of course it's not free. And so this is, socialism is great. Margaret Thatcher said, until you run out of other people's money. And so we're just having to have this discussion. But the thing at the root of it is a spiritual thing where we've declared success to be evil, or wealth building to be evil. And 89% of America's millionaires, that's 9 out of 10, by detailed airtight research, are first generation. They started with nothing and became a millionaire on their own. And so to tell them that they did something wrong is horrendous. It's a war on the word success. And so all of these small business guys in here that own heat and air companies or a veterinarian clinic or a healthcare thing, they're all in here pounding it, and they're winning, and then they're being shamed by some character who lives in his mother's basement with an iPhone that's $1,100 and says capitalism is bad.
Capitalism in this country is built AI. I think we're the leader. We're well ahead of China in terms of AI and the AI revolution. I want you to listen to a soundbite. I spoke to some other business leaders, and they felt mixed on if they were positive or not so positive on AI. Take a listen.
Sure.
So I'm a pro AI-er. So I'm the CEO. This is my wife, co-CEO, anti-AI-er, if that's a word. But I know that we have got to embrace it because it's coming and it's coming fast. So I know that if we don't embrace it, we're going to get left behind, and I don't want it to go there. So we are implementing it little by little, and we just got to get started.
What do you think about AI?
Oh, I love it. It's a wonderful tool. What do you think about the internet? What do you think about the computer?
Does it make you more productive, though, or do we start to see layoffs because AI can replace some jobs?
I mean, you saw layoffs when someone put a tractor in the field and you no longer needed 73 people to plow the field.
What do you guys think about AI? Personally, I find it very scary, and I don't want it to replace humans, which I think a lot of the people who are in power with AI, they're kind of using it in that way. I do think it can be used for good, but at the same time, I am a bit skeptical. I will not be getting a robot, an AI robot, but I want to hear your thoughts on AI below.
You know, and you saw layoffs when we put electricity in the train engine instead of a fire. And so anytime there's a disruption in the market, people will change and readjust their careers. But it's not the end of their career. We saw layoffs around the internet. Broadcast world has changed because of broadband, right? And so, you know, we see the shifts in this, but that doesn't mean that talented people can't still land in doing something. If you're a content producer, like for instance, we got about 1,000 team members, a whole bunch of them are software engineers. They're going to learn to manage AI or they're going to lose their job to it. If you are a writer, if you're writing blogs, you're going to learn to manage content production with AI or you're going to lose your job to it. But the trades are not in danger at all. They're not to have anything at all. And it's a wonderful tool. I think it's a wonderful thing.
Let's talk about the trades. Mike Rowe, of course, has been really out front and center. You've said that a lot of people here are involved in the trades. Are we doing enough in this country to talk about the importance of trades and getting away that not everyone has to go to college, that there are multiple paths of success?
You know, Mike and I have been friends a long time, and he's spoken at our conference here, and he and I are in complete alignment on this, that the trades have always been a valid option. What we had to do was get away from the shaming, and honestly, the stupidity of the student loan situation and the cost of higher ed for a 4-year degree to get a degree in left-handed puppetry, they've done the biggest job of promoting the trades of anybody because they became so irrelevant. And so now you can look and say, hey, a diesel mechanic, 2 years of certification can make $120 a year.
Not bad.
So shut up. I'm not going to spend $250,000 getting a master's degree in socialism so I can make $48,000 working for the government as a caseworker. It's just the logistics, the economics of that don't work anymore. And so the trades have been lifted up by the ridiculous movement of higher ed and put in front and center again and become valid. Thank goodness, because we need people who have calluses and dirt on their fingernails in this country. That's how stuff gets done.
I want to end on that note, on a really positive note. It's America 250. It's our big birthday this year. We're 250 years. You've talked about how this is a country where no one else can walk in and go from middle class to be a millionaire. This is the country that you can do that. What do you tell small business owners in this moment about a time of reflection, a time of really understanding what built this country? Small businesses are the backbone of this country.
Well, it's not false patriotism to observe the facts. And the facts are, in today's world, at this moment in time, right this second, if you live in the United States of America, you have the best option ever in the history of humankind in this locale to build wealth and start a business and run a business. You can start at 22 years old right now and you be a bazillionaire faster than I could have because I'm an old guy. I mean, faster than I did back then. There was no internet. There was all these things, all these tools are in our advantage, and the freedom is there if we don't condemn it and make it shameful to go win.
Want to celebrate success. We'll be doing that this year and always. Dave Ramsey, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
you. Appreciate it. Back in New York, how's about that for some enthusiasm?
It's actually really enthusiastic. Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate it. You know, Brian, before I'm dying to come to you, but we took in a lot of information from Dave and Taylor. A lot of it was really good. But the one thing that I do want to correct Dave on is that particularly for small businesses, AI is not a tool. It's not the internet, it's not a search, it's an infrastructure and it's a system. And when you look at big companies, there are going to be job layoffs because of inefficiency. In a small company, it has the opposite effect. It actually should level the playing field, giving those small folks that have finite resources around money and hiring to actually level up against a medium or large size business. And I think they need to think about it as an infrastructure and not an app on their phone.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah, it does. You can play bigger when you're a small company that's learned how to use AI. I do get what he's saying, though, in the sense that as an individual, if you're thinking about AI, you're thinking about how do I use it to deploy in more ways that create value, right? When he says, I'm going to manage the production of what AI can do, I think you're thinking like an entrepreneur, right? I have AI working for me. I have these agents working for me. How can I send them out to do things that expands the pie of value that I can create for people in the world? And I love that view. And you know Dave's always going to bring that view. Anytime you've got a problem, Dave Ramsey's saying, find the solution. That's why God gave you a brain. That's why he gave you energy. Go out and do it. Create value. Don't let the naysayers tell you that you can't do it.
Yeah.
I just think about how the left tried to kill small business in this country, but also their ability to expand and be entrepreneurial and make millions of dollars because of our system through trying to crush AI, through trying to control AI. I think, no matter what context we're talking about C-suite or we're talking about small business, there's opportunities there for people to be self-made in this country. And that just kills them. And it kills them that Trump was able to revive this growth engine for our country to give us, in the middle of a war right now in the Middle East, a stock market that just continues to soar.
Yeah, but then you have two things going on at once. You have small businesses that are able to use AI to grow and expand their businesses, but also you have an entire generation of workers who are, entering the job market. And if they are going the trade route, they will not be saddled with student debt the way some of their generational peers are, and they will have far more economic mobility. Yeah. So you have a very tangible aspect of the economy that's being serviced with, these tradesmen and women who are filling jobs that were mostly filled by boomers for decades. And, that is the physical aspect. But when you couple that with AI, there's a lot for people to be optimistic about. And, don't give in to fear. And I think that is the knee-jerk reaction that a lot of people have when they hear about AI.
He said, one thing he said I think is so great. He said, we have a spiritual problem in America. And it's the problem of declaring building wealth and success to be evil. And I think...
Yeah, and then honestly, it's like the same thing with the stock market. It's like, yeah, just because you are benefiting from Donald Trump, the people are saying, oh, well, Trump's evil, so, you shouldn't invest in the stock market. I highly disagree. President Trump has said some amazing things about investing in the market. Take a listen.
Rising market will do. Oh, it's going to get a lot higher. In fact, I told people 5 weeks ago, this is a great time to buy. I got criticized for that. Now they don't criticize me anymore. People should have listened. But it's going to go a lot higher. You're going to see, we've never had anything like this happen. It's an explosion.
Wow, so people doubted Trump.
And I actually did listen to President Trump, and I did start investing in the stock market. And over the past year, my investments are up over $90,000. If you want to learn how to invest in the stock market, very beginner friendly, step-by-step and easy, you can go to theFinanceZone.org, or if you're watching this on your TV, you can just scan this QR code and get started in a couple of minutes. Even one of you guys messaged me saying that your investments are up over $13,000 after taking the program. And right now, we have a 90% off sale that ends today, up to $1,000 in bonus stocks inside the program. I go over which stocks that Trump has, which stocks that I'm buying, how to set up an account for the very first time, and I also go into depth about how to take advantage of this time we're in while Trump is still president. It's not too late.